Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Modern Warfare 3. You guys may recall back in Season 1 when they first released the map Meet, I came out with a video questioning if Activision decided to nerf skill-based matchmaking because for whatever reason, like throughout that entire weekend, whatever it was, it really seemed like lobbies were a lot more normal. Everything felt a bit more fair and games, truth be told, were a lot more fun because people on the other team were always sweating their asses off. I could use whatever guns I wanted and genuinely enjoy my time. And a lot of you said the same thing. A lot of you had the same experience as me. Of course, not everybody. Skill-based matchmaking is a very broad spectrum here in the Call of Duty franchise, but it really did seem like they nerfed skill-based matchmaking a little bit back there during Season 1. Then we got Season 2 here. Everybody is saying that skill-based matchmaking got ramped up to infinity once again, but yesterday they released, yet again, another one of those free trial events, going from February 8th all the way until February 12th. People can jump into Modern Warfare 3 without buying it and play in certain playlists and try out certain maps, certain game modes. They can do the full zombies experience, in fact, and this is the same thing that happened back during Season 1. During these free trial weekends, it really does seem like skill-based matchmaking gets turned off, which is why I want to show this gameplay here today. This is using the new F2000. I'm not even using attachments, by the way. Like, I have the Shadow Strike suppressor on it, which only hides you from the radar. It doesn't give you any other bonuses or anything like that. Basically a naked gun, and it's already a laser, so if you don't have the F2000, you should definitely work towards getting it, because right now it seems like a really damn good gun. But looking at this match here, you're going to see the final score, you're going to see the people I'm shooting at, you're going to see the people on my team. It really seemed like skill-based matchmaking was not turned on during this particular match, and in fact, throughout all of yesterday, pretty much, it seemed like skill-based matchmaking was not really working. And of course, again, everyone has differing opinions. Some of you yesterday might have been like, that was the sweatiest day I've ever had. For me, it wasn't. Every game, every lobby felt normal to me. It kind of felt like the good old Call of Duty days. In fact, if you go to your combat record, you can like check out your most recent games and see your overall stats over the course of your last 10 games. Well, throughout like 10 matches, I had like a 2 KD and like a 7-win loss or something like that, which never happens anymore in Call of Duty. Like way back when, sure, I was like a 2.5 KD player in like every single COD. Nowadays, especially with skill-based matchmaking, as well as going for the interstellar grind, I average like a 1.2, 1.3. I'm not even gonna bullshit you guys. Like my KD is not incredibly high anymore, but that's how the system is designed. They don't want you to be a 2 KD player while rushing around and playing the objective. They want everyone in the lobby to basically be a 1. They said it in their blog post, which came out only 10 days ago. It seems like that came out like weeks and weeks and weeks ago to me, but it was only 10 days ago. They gave us that whole blog post where they talked about skill-based matchmaking. They said that in virtually every lobby, they don't want there to be that much disparity between the top player in the lobby and the bottom player in the lobby, and the result of that is they want players to experience wins and losses at a much more even rate. Basically, they don't want you winning too often, they don't want you losing too often, they don't want you getting too many kills, but they don't want you dying too much. They want basically everybody to be about a 1. But then this free trial event starts happening, and just like in Season 1, it seems like skill-based matchmaking has been turned off. And they also said in their blog post that this is something that they do try on occasion. They didn't say it was specifically for the free trial weekends, but just take a look at this right here. This was during the Q&A part of the skill-based matchmaking blog post, and they say, have you ever tested removing skill as a consideration from matchmaking? To which the Call of Duty team responded, we have run tests over the years to determine if removing skill as a consideration from matchmaking makes sense. We will continue to launch these tests periodically. To date, the data remains consistent with what we detailed above. Players tend to quit matches or stop playing if they're getting blown out, resulting in a negative overall experience for all players in the lobby and the general player population. We purposefully do not disclose when these tests occur because it may impact feedback or the data we see during these tests. Then the second question here, have you considered removing skill from matchmaking in specific general multiplayer game modes? And they say that we have considered this in the past and will continue to examine if this idea makes sense as part of an experimental playlist or in specific modes. We have nothing to announce on that front today. Well, here's the thing, right? We noticed this back during Season 1. When the free weekend happens, it seems like skill-based matchmaking gets turned down. It genuinely does. Like, obviously it's anecdotal, but again, averaging like a 2.5 KD and like a 7-win loss, like that doesn't happen anymore in COD, but it does seem to happen during these free weekends. And you may think, well, maybe that's because all the new players are coming in, the players in the lobby aren't going to be all that good, but keep in mind, the new players can only really play in the free trial playlist, and in here, I'm just playing normal 10v10. I'm not doing anything fancy, I'm not in one of those free game modes or anything like that, but it does make sense, in my opinion, for them to turn off skill-based matchmaking during these test trials here, because if you're somebody that's been burnt out on COD for a long time and you're tired of skill-based matchmaking, and then you jump into the game and you see it's right there right away, then you're not going to want to play, right? If you didn't buy the game because of skill-based matchmaking, and then suddenly you you decide to give it a try on the free trial, and then you realize it's still there, and the lobbies are still sweaty, and you're not having fun, then you're likely just to walk away. I genuinely think that during these free weekends, they adjust skill-based matchmaking in one way or another, but also, and this is something I need you guys to help me out with here, does 10v10 not seem like skill-based matchmaking in general is turned off? I don't know what it is about 10v10. Maybe it's the fact that the maps are a bit more designed for 10v10. Like playing on a state, for example, like 6v6 is kind of slow in this map, but then suddenly if you're playing 10v10 hardpoint, it's chaos, it's fun, it's wild, it's interesting, right? Other maps like Derail, they just add a bunch of new maps to the 10v10 playlist today, in fact, including Scrapyard, Karachi, Vista is in there, Departures, the two maps that just came out the other day. You know, all those things have been added in there. Like these maps that typically don't play very well in 6v6, like for example, Rundown, they do play a lot better in 10v10. That's why I personally like to play it. But I also noticed while I'm playing it, it just anecdotally seems like the lobbies in general are easier. And going back to what they said in the blog post is they have considered turning off skill as a parameter for matchmaking within certain game modes. And I think we've seen that in the past. Like if you look at the war game mode, I don't think there's any skill-based matchmaking in the war game mode. If you look at Ground War, like we're talking 32 on 32 here. Like I don't think there's really skill-based matchmaking in there either. It really seems like the normal playlist, you know, your 6v6 search and destroy, your domination, your hardpoint, and things like that. That seems like where they really kind of ramp things up. But in game modes that tend to have more players, I think they loosen it just a little bit. I mean, again, it's all anecdotal, and again, we don't really know anything unless they were to straight up come out and say it. But here we are now towards the end of the video, and just check out the final score of this match. And this was all live streamed, by the way. It's not like this was cherry picked. Like all my matches yesterday were kind of like this. Not quite this bad in terms of my team doing literally nothing. But when it comes to skill-based matchmaking in general, I mean, how is it possible that nobody else on my team could like crack 15 kills? Like that wouldn't make sense given the very nature of skill-based matchmaking. Looking at the other team there was like 2, maybe 3 people that were like really getting kills. Other than that, everyone was just kind of running around doing their own thing. People are sniping, people are knifing, people are leveling up their guns or whatever it is they're doing. This match here felt like the old school Call of Duty days where you just jump into a lobby based on your connection, and lo and behold, my connection was a lot better. So you're sitting there at like 30 milliseconds, no packet burst really to speak of or anything like that. You get to the lobby mostly based on connection, and then once you're in there, you're just going up against everybody else that connected to that server, and you can see where you stack up against those other players, and that feels good. Like we lost, sure, I mean that did suck. I was trying my best, but I'll tell you what, we lost, but I had more fun in that match than I have in ages playing COD, because again, the lobbies felt normal. It felt like I wasn't being screwed over connection-wise. Sure, my team was not very good, and you can argue that's part of skill-based matchmaking where they try to balance out the teams and whatnot, but regardless, that match was really fun. I genuinely had a blast playing it, and it just goes to show, once again, and this is nothing new here, how often have we talked about it, but if they were to get rid of skill-based matchmaking, stuff like this could happen more often, and COD would be more fun as a result. Now, going back to the scoreboard here, however, I'm not calling these people out like, oh, I hate this person or whatever, but Gray Shadow down there having 11 total kills in the entire match. I hope he joined late, but do you think he had fun in particular? I'm not entirely sure. What about that Moxie guy there who had 3 total kills but 42 seconds on the point, which goes to show that he was in the match for quite a long time, but somehow only managed to get 3 kills? I don't know. Like, I think they're trying to protect people like that from having matches like that, but I think it's better for them in general. I think it's better for the COD community and the overall player base, which is what they keep talking about in their blog post. I think it's better for everyone in general for you to get into lobbies like this where the connection in general is pretty good, and you really just get to see like how good you are versus all the other people in the lobby. It's not like we're all sweating with like CDL guns or anything like that, but like just see how you're doing. Like, are you leveling your sniper? Okay, that's fine, but let's see how well you do in this lobby with your sniper and things like that. Like, these lobbies felt good. Like, all the lobbies yesterday really felt good, and I'm curious if you guys are having the same experience, whether it's maybe the free weekend event that's happening right now where new players are coming into the game, or the fact that Modern Warfare 3 is currently on sale, or maybe it's 10v10. Like, have you guys tried out 10v10? If not, maybe jump into a couple of matches next time you get on and come back here and like let me know how 10v10 feels for you guys, because for me it feels so much better than playing 6v6, and also seems like skill-based matchmaking is a bit toned down within that particular playlist. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. TF2000 is freaking crazy. I'm going to finish up Interstellar on that, then start working on the Ram 9 submachine gun, and overall, going back to it, Season 2 has been feeling pretty good so far, so I'm also curious as to whether or not you guys are enjoying the season as well. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.